Hi guys, welcome back to Codemaster Coach, your medical coding tutor. Guys, I have the opportunity of a lifetime. I get to collab with Integrated Practice Solutions right here on YouTube. Have you ever wondered, I know you guys have wondered because you guys have sent me several emails about billing, the billing side of medical coding. Well guys, guess who I have? You want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Jasmine Viles. As she said, I'm here with Integrated Practice Solutions. We are a medical billing firm. Here to answer any of your questions. I'm excited to be here with Codemaster Coach. She is fantastic, and I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to share our knowledge with you.
Okay, I have a couple questions that I have down to ask you. What do you do for a living?
I actually own and operate a medical billing company. Been doing that for about 15 years independently of a practice or another organization. I'm very blessed. I often get to work from home. My family is also involved in our business in some capacity, which makes it a fun family business. We also have a team of individuals, so I support my team. Some of them are remote, and some also work in the office with me when we are physically in our home office and outside of the DC area.
Okay. How long have you been on YouTube?
Oh, great question. So I've been doing YouTube videos inconsistently for about 3 years. I guess it's all how we start. Yep. For about 3 years. We started out doing videos just for training our clients. So we've a series of private videos that we started launching, just topics that are relative to those services that we provide for them, and then thought it would be great to just put some content out there to support the team that is within our practices, just with how to collect money, how to feel confident in conversation. And then it kind of grew into something else where we decided it would be really great to put a lot of content out there specific to the medical billing community, people that are either new or that are working in a practice and exploring the option of learning more about medical billing.
Okay. What's your goal of your YouTube channel, the goal of it?
The primary goal of our YouTube channel is to be a great resource to support the improvement of healthcare, kind of overarching. So what we choose to do with our business is to really support the business side of healthcare, the part that really distracts most of the staff. So it's people get distracted from the primary care of healthcare, which is really being able to focus on their patients. So our goal, our aim, overarching with anything that we do on YouTube, ultimately, is to support the improvement of healthcare and the services that the providers are serving, how they're serving their patients, basically, or their patient community. So how we do that is by teaching and educating the staff so that now they feel confident and comfortable in the services that they provide to their organizations or their practices, and they can really take things to the next level.
So any provider could reach out to you?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So providers, medical billers, staff of the providers' offices that are really looking to try to support. We also provide credentialing services, so they're trying to support the business side of what that organization or practice does.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What education? Several of my subscribers have asked me about education for billing. I can share the education for medical coding, but I have no idea when it comes to the billing. So what education do you recommend to your subscribers?
So we really believe that each person has their own individual learning style, right? So when you think of education, a lot of people automatically think of a college or an environment that might be a physical location. Now, not everybody learns or has the flexibility in their schedule to learn that way. So they might need to be able to do things online. So I really think that choosing a program is really a responsibility of you, the individual, when you're going to do your search. So really looking online, gauging, maybe you have some friends or colleagues in your place of employment that you can speak to and get some information or feedback from them on the program that they took, because it's really important to understand everyone else's experiences, because you see a lot of great ads online. I'm sure that they're all over the place. And right, and everybody wants to throw money at you to take this loan and do this to be able to get the education, but if it's not going to add value to you and it's not going to be in the format that you can learn best in, Again, if you have an inflexible schedule and you absolutely need to have flexibility of online courses, you're going to want to look for a program that is going to not only provide you with online courses, but also give you additional resources for learning, potential for you to also connect with an instructor one-on-one to ask questions, because there's a lot of programs out there that do just offer online resources that are just the recordings of the videos. There's no interaction with the teacher at any point. There's no forums or even a community around the students for them to collaborate, which is what, if somebody is doing an in-person course, you would get all of that. You would get face-to-face interaction with the instructor and a community of students around you. A lot of the online courses that are well formatted actually do both things. So they give you direct communication with the instructor. You also get the opportunity to reach out to your fellow students to be able to collaborate, maybe go a little further in a particular subject, or perhaps do some studying together. Especially when it comes to things like in our industry, things are always changing. They're evolving, and depending on the specialty that you're going into, very specifically, you might find somebody in your class that is also going into oncology, and that gives you an opportunity to now collaborate with them to further your knowledge. So I think that, back to the education question, is that it's really important for you to understand the program and be able to piece that together with what your learning style is, so that you can be able to pick a program that's most appropriate for you.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to benefit us in the end. Wait till the end of the video. I have something to share with you. Ooh. Okay. Is there a billing certification, and is a certification recommended to do billing?
So yes, it's recommended if you do not have the experience that would outweigh the need for the certification. What do I mean? Basically, if you've been somehow, in the way that I came upon billing, I actually learned billing as a mentee of someone who was a biller with many, many years of experience. And I was in a practice, running the front desk of the practice, and learned under her wing, basically. She took me under her wing, and I learned everything from her and built upon that. And then I went to get a certification, at which point I decided I don't really need to maintain the certification because I knew a lot more than what I necessarily was gaining in my knowledge from that certification. But I will say this: if you are starting out in healthcare, or you have no healthcare experience whatsoever, what a program and obtaining a certification will do is obviously give you some credibility that you can then take to an organization that perhaps you have no prior experience, relevant healthcare experience, that you can now on paper say, this is, I have gained as much experience as I could educationally, and furthered my learning by perhaps doing an externship or some volunteer hours. Highly recommend volunteer hours if you don't have any experience, because really it is in billing. It's extremely important, even with a certification, that you look to try to gain experience, even if it's you going to a billing company or going to a healthcare practice and saying, I would like to volunteer for you, doing whatever it is that you need me to do, just so I can gain some knowledge, because now you have someone that you can perhaps place, if you do a great job for them, that you would place on your list of references that is, relevant experience, and perhaps someone that has had a direct connection with you, working relationship. So it gives you a leg up. So definitely recommend certifications. I do believe also that certifications are important if you are kind of feeling like you're on an island. So let's say you decide that you want to work from home. That's kind of the primary purpose for you doing medical billing and coding. Yep. So if you choose to do that and you choose to have that career from home, you probably may not have a community of people that you can be able to collaborate with locally, right. Not in your home, right, or in your community. So what a certification does, and being able to plug into a lot of those certification programs, they have a lot of continuing education, constant continuing education webinars and series and things that they will put out there to their certificate holders. And when you have those certificates, you're needing to maintain hours. So with all of that, you are also given the opportunity to do maybe some attending of an annual conference, or plugging into their forums. So you get this community around you of people that are doing what you're doing as well. And because it's brand new to you, now you have a chance to really collaborate with those folks in your your certification community.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, did you ask me which program or just the certification?
About the certification.
Okay.
I see here.
All right.
When it comes to coding and billing, do you recommend both or do you recommend specializing in one?
That is a big question. I do recommend that you, okay, so truth,
Yep.
when you're a biller, you have to know some coding.
Okay.
You have to. Usually it's very specific to whatever specialty you are choosing. So whether it's, like I mentioned earlier, oncology, or if you're doing something for an orthopedist, it's pretty narrow when you start to think of what that code set is versus if you were going to be a coder. Now, the truth is that I don't believe that you can't really do both effectively. Coding in itself is really a very specialized practice. You should have a foundation in coding, especially to the code set that is appropriate for your specialty, but you would be doing yourself a disservice if you tried to become an expert, a true expert in both, because they're different things. Very different things.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you agree that in, say, for example, small one-physician offices, they tend to want someone that can do both billing and coding? And you do just enough, really, a basic billing and coding in that setting. But I agree, when you get outside and you're in like a hospital setting, oh my gosh, trying to do billing, there's no way.
Yeah, especially a hospital setting, you have way too many codes that you're trying to monitor, way too many insurance carrier regulations and rules, which is on the billing side. You really cannot do both things. You can't. But like an example that you mentioned, so if you're at a cardiologist office, you've got a very narrow code set.
Right.
You aren't dealing a whole lot. You might have 10 major insurances that are in your area. So now it's possible for you to be proficient in both things. It's going to take education, separate education in both sides of that. So you'll have to educate yourself, and some of that might be in office with maybe going under the wing of someone else that is a biller for the billing side. But for coding, I would definitely suggest you have to do a program. I don't like when people just say, I can just teach myself coding and not be able to take the knowledge, because really it's an experience-based thing. I mean, the books are gigantic if you have no idea. So you have to know how to navigate them. You have to know how to use them to your best advantage, because otherwise you will feel like you're drowning in codes.
I agree. Yes. Are there employment opportunities in the billing profession?
Oh my gosh, yes, a ton. A ton. As you well know, both billing and coding, there's not an industry, there's a lot of industries where technology can kind of absorb a lot of the functions of the work, right? There's, in certain industries, it's easy, plug and play, you get a software, it can do it. Not when it comes to coding and billing. Not when you cannot operate without, yes, you can be able to do some things to automate some portions that you already know need to be present.
Right.
Like, for example, if you know that you have a combination of modifiers or things that you need to use with a specific carrier, you can be able to use your software to help that process. However, there is, if you're a surgeon or working at a surgeon's office, it's like impossible. You have to feel confident. You've got to study the specifics about each payer. You have to know, and those are constantly changing. You have to know everything that's being released in each of the code set, every update that occurs. You have to be able to monitor all of that. So it's something that is always going to be the case, not only in this from our side of it, but even from the insurance side of it. It's not an automated process. So you have there's manual work that's involved. So there's the claims piece can be automatic, but if a denial comes out, either an error or something that's valid because there's something wrong with the claim, everything from that point on has to be done by a human, because someone needs to review it and say what needs to go on. Okay, this is the problem. I need to take this back to doc, or something needs to be corrected on the claim. You need to evaluate it. Perhaps you need medical notes to support it. So there's kind of this analytical side of it that really only a person can do. So there's always going to be a need for medical billers.
You always hear about the possibility of it being done electronically. I hear that a lot in coding, and I'm thinking you still can't take that human touch.
You can't.
Out of medical coding, because there are some things that only a body, a person can actually read in and determine what's actually going on.
Right, absolutely. Same is true for billing for sure.
Can billing be done from home?
Yes.
Like medical coding?
Absolutely. We're in my home right now.
Yes, we are.
I primarily work from my home. We do
are.
have offices, but I want to. Since I started my company, the very first location of our offices was in my home. We got offices outside of my home eventually, just because it was a lot when I had people coming to my. Eventually, had some people locally coming to my home, and so I said, okay, probably should get an office somewhere. But if you were just either wanting to start your own smaller scale, company or working for another organization, there's organizations everywhere that have. We have remote employees, even though I mentioned that we have a physical office. There's only a couple of people that go there every day of the week. Everyone else works remotely. Yeah, they work remotely from home, and we get together. We try to get together at least once a year. But beyond that, they actually they're on their own. We see each other on our meetings, like we see each other online meetings, face to face, as we would say, online. But the technology, we're able to do a lot remotely. So most companies are flexible when it comes to billing, especially if it means that they don't have to maintain a workstation for you in house. It actually saves them some money. So there's a lot of benefits to going into healthcare on the business side of healthcare. Obviously, if you choose to go as a clinician or patient facing, you have to physically be at the office. But with billing and coding, we don't have that.
Not anymore.
That tether.
Okay.
As we would say.
What additional would you like to add to this video? Oops. That was just something I had down here. Anything you'd like to share with my subscribers on my channel?
No, I'm excited to be here. I'm so thrilled just to be able to. We both are very passionate about what we do. It's exciting to have somebody that just shares the same values and the same desire to really educate and help to bring some awareness to healthcare. It's crazy that we have less resources available for people in our industry, and I'm just excited that we're going to be able to fill that void together. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got an inside scoop. Codemaster Coach will be offering a medical coding program, and I have teamed up with Integrated Practice Solutions to do
Yay.
the billing side of that program, and it's going to work toward a CPC certification. So stay tuned. And don't forget to go over to her channel, again, Integrated Practice Solutions, right here on YouTube. If you're interested in more questions, or if you have any more questions or any more information on the billing side of healthcare. Anything else you want to add?
No, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited to see your faces and your interactions with us on the page, and I hope that you'll be able to subscribe to our program. We are very excited about sharing the billing information with you.
And go over and subscribe to her channel as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.